Sports Office back after taking a break with a little football and basketball, all the craziness going on. We got the summer months coming up, and we got more time. And Sports Office back with Tim Means, the Dirty Bird, UFC fighter. And Tim, of course, you've been out of action a little bit. Kind of a crazy situation came up with the suspension and all that. Where's that at right now?
USADA is located the supplement, or located the Austrian where it came from. So they try to put all the puzzles together, puzzle pieces together, and give me time served. But politics and paperwork, man, we're just waiting on those guys.
And so, what's realistically what would be your next fight? Probably when will it be?
You know, they had the 2-year suspension on the table. I think we've got him down to about 6 months. So I'm looking at July or August. You know, I'm hoping nothing's set in stone, but hopefully that time.
What has that been like to wait and then to go through this whole process? I mean, you know, you're used to being active. You know, like you had to fight with Cowboy set. What all that has been like?
You know, man, I busted my butt for that fight against Cowboy. So 2 weeks prior, you know, Brenda comes out and says, it's Thursday, February 3rd, says, hey, you're suspended. This stuff popped up in your system. I thought she was telling me a mean joke. You know, I was fixing my coffee, had my bag, getting ready to go to practice, and kind of just stopped me in my tracks, took the wind out of my sails. You know, we don't cut corners where we work. You know, I'm proud to be a blue collar guy and want to put in the tough work to get wins. And I learned about Austrian for the first time. You know, was February 3rd. I keep going back to that day because that's when I learned about the product. So you can buy it in any supplement store. You know, so it's just illegal to have in your system to compete. So you got to take the good times and the bad times in life. So I've tried to take all the positive in it. Went and got another job, trying to get back to the gym now because I want to start fighting here soon, and go into arbitration either hopefully tomorrow or next Friday.
And you talk about the substance that was found. Have you, the maker of that supplement, have you talked to any of those guys and like, hey, you guys realize you all are getting people in trouble and stuff like that? What are you doing? I mean, or how's that, you know, how does that work?
I think once the manufacturer was contacted by the individual I get my supplements from, they immediately took this stuff off the shelves. You know, the UFC and USADA found this online as their product was completely gone. You couldn't find it anywhere. You couldn't find it in stock at all. So they knew they did something wrong because they tucked tail and shut the doors and ran and hid. So USADA and Jeff has really helped me in a lot of ways, you know, reaching out to the experts that they know. They maybe send all the pictures of my supplements to them to narrow it down to what they thought the culprit was. They found it almost right away. Like the first picture I took and sent them, they red flagged a supplement right away. I can't name it just yet because of litigation and stuff going on with it, but what they found in the supplement matched exactly what they found in my urine test. So now I'm just hoping to get the arbitration going. USADA's built a very good case for me, and Jeff's built a very good case for me going forward. They're just trying to really go above and beyond to make sure all the bases are covered and people can't backstep and say, hey, you did this or you did this. Right. They're really doing a thorough job, so I'm very comfortable with how this has been going.
And for people who might not know who Jeff is, tell them who Jeff is.
Yeah, Jeff Nowitzki's the drug administrator with the UFC, 23-year FBI veterans, caught guys like Lance Armstrong, you know, caught multiple Olympians. But he's there not to they could easily shut the door on me and say, hey, you're caught, sign the 2-year deal. He asked me, hey, did you take this means? I said, no, sir, I never even heard of it. He said, you know what, I don't have reasons to not believe you. He started reaching out, got the ball rolling, and has really done, it's really been in my best interest. Right. So, yeah, Jeff Nowitzki, man, the dude is really there to clean the sport up. And ultimately, he really wants to hit the head on how the supplement world is dangerous for all sports, not just the UFC. I'm one of the first guys, along with Yoel Romero, that have started going through this because USADA's barely stepped into the MMA world, you know, the mixed martial arts world. So they're really doing a thorough job, and I think they're really they're in my best interest. So I feel comfortable with these individuals. Jeff has been spot on. If he thinks you did something, he's going to tell you, you know, this is what's going on. Everything the dude does is on his sleeve, so he's there to help the sport, and I'm comfortable with the guy.
What have you learned from all of this? You know, like I'm sure you just, anytime you're going to take any supplement, you probably got it out and you're just going through it with a microscope.
You know, man, I thought I was doing all that stuff right. I was reading the labels and I was checking ingredients online, and you know, I thought I was doing that part correctly. you know, so the FDA certified stamps and approved and all this crap. It's just more smoke and mirrors than it is. And in other cases that I learned in my life, if it's too good to be true, it is all the time. So, you know, with supplements, I've learned that it's just that. You know, they've sent me a whole bunch of research. Olympians that have found this stuff in their supplements through laboratory testing, they were still suspended for 4 years even after they found it. Multiple college athletes that have come back, tested it, you know, kidney failure because of the crap that was in these products. It's not really a hidden secret, but you really don't hear about it a whole lot. And the more research they sent me, I started Googling, started getting put my brain into looking this stuff up and what was going on, different cases, and the labels are not what they say they are. You know, you get protein that's 30 grams of protein, and these are being tested in facilities that are coming back with only 7 grams of actual protein. The rest is baking soda and food coloring and other additives or fillers that's in this stuff. And these are lawsuits that are in the process right now, and they're big time lawsuits going on. I've never wanted to sue anybody. I just want to compete, but those guys, the individuals that spike their stuff, they owe me. You know, they need to come around and give an apology, and they owe me.
Yeah, and I'm sure you feel like that because they've like derailed your career for just a few minutes.
You know, I went from a main event from a fight I wanted. You know, fireworks with Cerrone. You know, and I'm not the type of guy that says, "Crap, oh, you're going to see fireworks and you watch us hug the fight out." You know, when I say it's going to be a fight, it's going to be a good fight, and mine and Cerrone's styles just really matched up well. And like I said, main event, I busted my butt, spent a grip of money in that training camp, lost a lot of money for getting pulled out of the fight, sponsorships, all that, you know. The amount they found in my system doesn't even benefit me athletically. So to take such a crazy step towards you're suspended for 2 years, which there's been guys that are 10 times the legal limit in steroids and everything else, they're getting 9 months. So I understand that the rules have just changed last July or whatever for the anti-doping violations, but 2 years for a billionth of a milligram, you know, or 1 nanogram is what they're finding on in my system. If I was on some type of cycle, I got tested 2 weeks prior to being tested in January. They would have caught me on any type of cycle. My nanogram reading would have been 30,000 nanograms, not the one that they found. So right away, those numbers threw a red flag to USADA that, hey, it's a supplement, and threw the red flag to Jeff, hey, it's a supplement, and they located the supplement.
Oh, good. That worked out for you. Speaking of Cerrone, you guys kind of like almost are neighbors, huh? You guys live in the same area?
Yeah, we're a few miles apart. You know, they have a gym out there. They call it the ranch. You know, 5 acres or whatever they have a building on. You know, he does a good job for what he's got going on for himself. You know, good fighters going over there, stuff like that. But I haven't seen him mention my name or whatever. I guess he kind of made fun of the supplement issue, saying that me and Yoel had the only tainted supplements out there or whatever. But I can't really pick a fight now. I'm on suspension, so my hands are tied. But as soon as the suspension is done, you know, I want to kick Cerrone in the face or in the mouth. So he's just not on my level, and I want to prove exactly that.
You really want him. I could see it in your face.
Yeah, I want to beat Cerrone up. He's a good fighter or whatever, but he's in my backyard and he's been there for too long.
And you think they can make that happen this time around? Or I mean, what are you hearing? I mean, you probably not hearing anything. I don't know what you're hearing, but what are you hearing?
You know, I haven't touched base with the UFC stuff. I'm just waiting for this to get cleared up. And I guess I have kind of touched base with the UFC because of Jeff. He's been the guy that's been willing, dealing, telling Dana what's going on. But when I told him that when I told Jeff Nowitzki that they found it in my supplement, that dude was cheering on the phone, like, yeah, F yeah, like. I was like, yeah, this dude's like really on my. He's like, I'm going right upstairs to tell Dana now. So I have those guys in my corner, you know, and they've really been giving me cool fights up until, you know, this stuff happened. So I think I can easily ask for that fight to get back. I didn't do anything wrong. I did not know. People say, oh, you're still a cheater because you took it. I didn't know it was in that product. I read everything on the label. I'd already taken that product, had been tested on it. I'm not a cheater by any means, you know. So and that pun is intended. I want to compete, and I want to represent my state and my gym, you know, and take care of my family. I went from being good at my trade, what I did, making a good living last year and the year before, starting to make a good living, to, you know, I work for peanuts now, and I'm a grunt on the totem pole, you know, and it's a real humbling experience to go from something you're good at to not being all that good. You know, it's frustrating, and it's just really humbling. So I got a fire lit. I'm taking my time. Kind of taking some time off the gym, but we've been getting strength conditioning done last few weeks and get some boxing done, stuff like that. But I got that fight in mind, and just ultimately not even just Cerrone. I want to compete. So you saw to hurry up and get the paperwork done. You've done a good job, but get it done.
No, you sound like a guy who's like that may have been. You know how sometimes bad things happen, but out of a bad thing could come a good thing because you sound like really fired up and like hungrier than I don't know if I've seen you like this hungry because you had something taken away from you. You sound like you just want to go like now.
You know, man, I've learned things the hard way in life, and that was my own choice. You know, I chose to be in the bad situations, but I corrected myself, and you know, I'm trying to be a husband and trying to take care of responsibilities. And we were in family court, and it's just something I didn't need it at that time in my life. But you know, now that I have my girls here and we have our boys here, you know, I want to teach them not to quit in things. You know, and my wife's helped keep me straight line because I got bummed. You know, I got mad at the situation or whatever. But to keep me down and to kind of kick me when I'm down, especially like how some of the fans do. You know, I haven't been found guilty on anything, but they're like, "Oh, you're guilty. You're a roid user," and all this. What I'm going to say to that is, don't do the steroids I was doing because my muscles did not show up. So, just the emotions have been there, but I am fired up right now, and I want to compete. I know what I want to do. I went and did a job that I thought, hey, I could do it for the next 2 years. Started doing this job, and it doesn't have my heart, you know. So. Competing has my heart, and being in front of thousands of fans and hearing that roar and getting paid for something that I really enjoy doing, you know, there's no other feeling like that, and I want to get that life back.
So going back to Cerrone, do you guys ever see each other or anything? Or
We've crossed paths a couple times or whatever. Don't really know the guy too well. You know, I know him as a fighter. I know who he is when he steps in that cage. So I want to beat that guy up. You know, that's all I can think of.
and with this whole thing about the supplements and stuff like that, what do you feel like? Don't you feel like they should have like some kind of rule for these guys, and they do this, they get in trouble because they should be penalized if they're not telling the athletes, like, hey, look, there's this. You might want to check the supplement because that's almost like we make the product, but we're not responsible.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming a mainstream now. Finding out what supplement companies are doing, I think it's from the cases I've looked up. There's been guys that are adding like chemicals and stuff into weight cutting pills, and it's costing young girls their lives. They're still in high school and they're getting bullied about being fat, and their emotions got them running crazy, wanting to get thin or whatever, and find any easy way to do it because exercise isn't their style or isn't working for them or whatever the reasons are, and it's killing them. You know, and I feel like a lot of these people are kind of prying or not really prying, but preying on weak-minded individuals in those instances that, oh, hey, these girls are depressed and we can give them this pill and we can promise these promises. But it's not just with that stuff. It's proteins, you know. A vitamin B12, for example, was in a case where it had a tainted anabolic steroid in it, and it was causing elderly people in this nursing home eyes to like turn yellow. And they tracked it back to a vitamin B12. There's fish oils, there's the daily vitamin, the multivitamins. It's in absolutely everything. And the UFC, when I showed them my supplements, they said, hey, we can't legally tell you you can, and we can't legally tell you you can't take the supplement. And it's like, well, you know, what is that? You know, like you guys know this is dangerous. These individuals, these experts that are in this world that are suing these supplement companies now, they know the bad in this, and these supplement companies are still getting a slap on the wrist. They close down one company and they open up in a different name. Yeah. And it's a real dangerous world, and it's a secret because I never really heard of any of that stuff. And then the more research I've done on it, it's everywhere. It's not a secret, but it's not really talked about at the same time. So it's a hit and miss. It's a hit and miss issue, but it's a very real thing. I found dozens upon dozens of cases, you know, that were sent to me from Jeff to do my research on in the UK, here in the United States, and Canada. Yeah. It's a serious issue. So, and those individuals, to be a multi-billion-dollar industry, they're ruining people's lives. So.
Wow, that's very unfortunate. As far as you sitting out now and waiting for all this stuff to blow over, do you watch any of the cards, or is it too hard to watch any of the cards?
I've been asked that question a few times. You know, we watched Holly Holmes fight Misha. You know, we're rooting for her, and then Connor, of course, fighting Diaz. You know, had to do with my weight class. You know, do some DraftKings. You know, try to win a quarter here and there. But you know, I said we watched the Kimbo Slice against that whoever the other dude was that they fought, and the fight was terrible. And I'm pissed off that I'm
some Yada 5,000
dude
or whatever.
died 3 times in the fight, and these guys aren't taking it serious. You know, they're not showing up in shape, and they have 30 seconds of fight in them. I like what I do, and I show up in shape, and I go fight. And I'm not saying that I'm seeing God in spirits, and I'm dying 10 times because I'm out of shape. And it was just a lackluster fight, and it was just terrible to watch. And you know, that type of stuff where individuals aren't taking it serious, and I'm sitting on the sideline watching these guys fight. And what's funny is that this Kimbo Slice dude tested positive for steroids right after with Ken Shamrock, and these individuals that are 10 times or 5 times the legal limit of steroid use. Those are the guys that need to be kicked out. I had a billionth of an anagram. For 2 years, I'm going to get that. You know, we got guys across the street over here that are testing positive for steroids, and they're getting 8 months, 9 months, you know, and it's just a frustrating issue. A billionth of an anagram doesn't benefit me athletically at all, and I'm having to lose money and work a different job and not ultimately be happy with my own life, you know. So I'm just trying to get back to those outlets, you know.
Right. As far as the division, I know you want to get that Cowboy fight back. Who else in the division would you like a crack at? Would you like to get a crack at McGregor, or who else would you like to get?
You know, there's a lot of guys there. You know, Carlos Condon's here. You know, that'd be a good fight to have here in Albuquerque. Conor McGregor doesn't want to fight me. He's too small. There's you know, Josh Thompson. Or is that his name? Josh Thompson. You know, you have Hendricks, you have that Lombard dude. Even rematches of guys that, you know, I lost close decisions to. You know, at that time in my fight career, everything was falling into place. You know, I was really starting to turn the corner. Yeah. My strength conditioning was on point, nutrition was on point. So what I've kind of just learned from this ordeal with this is, you know, I got to keep putting in the same amount of work, but I got to start using my talking ability a little bit more to get people to start saying, hey, we need to watch him fight because he's fun to listen to, and he comes and kicks ass or attempts to kick ass. Yeah. So I'm just kind of learning how to market myself a little bit better each time out. And, you know, like I said, I just want to compete. You know, I don't have no hard feelings with Cerrone, Condon, any of these guys. They're just exciting fighters, and those are the guys you want to get in there and tangle with. You know, I want to pay off my truck, you know, and drive a nice truck. You got to fight a badass. So those are the guys that I'm looking to fight. I don't want to warm up fight or none of that. We warm up enough in the gym. You know, I got enough of that stuff here at home. So we want to step up and fight. And then Tom Vaughn, he's been doing a great job at willing and dealing with Joe Silva and getting the fun fights where guys don't want to hang on to a leg for 30 minutes or 15 minutes, however long we are. But there's too many tough guys to call out individual people, you know, which I call out a few of them. But
you just want them all.
I just want to compete, man. You know, and that's all it is. That's really all it is.
All right. He's Tim Means, UFC fighter. Jared Chester behind the camera. I'm Tate. We'll see you next time.